Good day, everybody. This is Ying in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1431. Today we're reading Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, and we are in book 7. Last time we read up to number 33. Today we're going to read from 34 on. There are going to be some numbers that I skip because we have read them before. So if it doesn't seem like I've got every single number in between, that's the reason. Number 34 is on ambition. This is Marcus Aurelius speaking 2,000 years ago, 2,100 years ago, and he's in Meditations, translated by Gregory Hayes. On ambition, how their minds work, the things they long for and fear, events like piles of sand, drift upon drift, each one soon hidden by the next. I feel like I read that one last time. Number 35. If his mind with quote unquote, if his mind is filled with nobility, with a group of all time, all existence, do you think our human life will mean much to him at all? How could it, he said. Or death be very frightening? Not in the least. Number 36. Kingship to earn a bad reputation by good deeds. Number 37. Disgraceful that the mind should control the face, should be able to shape and mold it as it pleases, but not shape and mold itself. Number 38. And why should we feel anger at the world as if the world would notice? Number 39. May you bring joy to us and those on high. H-I-G-H. Number 40. To harvest life. Excuse me. Okay, I confess I woke up at 4:30. It is 5:10 now. It was 5:10 when I started. 40. To harvest life like standing stalks of grain, grown and cut down in turn. Number 41. If I and my 2 children cannot move the gods must have their reasons. Number 42. For what is just and good is on my side. Number 43. No chorus of lamentation, no hysterics. Number 44. Then the only proper response for me to make is this. You are much mistaken, my friend, if you think that any man worth his salt cares about the risk of death and doesn't concentrate on this alone, whether what he's doing is right or wrong and his behavior a good man or a bad one. Behavior is a big thing in my program. In my show, I talk about morsels of a thought. Morsels of a thought of wisdom. When we know what the right thing to do is, that's wisdom. When we actually go and do it, that's virtue. And in this program, you get a chance to commit virtue. To commit virtue, we do this and make the world a better place. So if I eventually get seen and heard by millions, that's what the whole point of this is. Sponsored welcome. Number 45. It's like this, gentlemen of the jury. The spot where a person decides to station himself, or wherever his commanding officer stations him, well, I think that's where he ought to take his stand and face the enemy and not worry about being killed or about anything but doing his duty. When I was born, I recall the day, and I remember coming out and saying, this is my experiment. This is my assignment. Number 46. But, my good friend, consider the possibility that nobility and virtue are not synonymous with the loss or preservation of one's life. Is it not possible that a real man should forget about living a certain number of years and should not cling to life but leave it up to the gods, accepting, as women say, that no one can escape his fate, and turn his attention to how he can best live the life before him? Now, when he says how women say it, there's a saying out there somewhere that says that if you educate one woman, you educate 10 people. If you educate one man, you educate one man. But if you educate one woman, you educate 10 people. The reason is that women talk more. Women talk more. And uh, eh, those aren't words. But to men, they're words. Eh. And that men say 3,000 words a day, and that women say 8,000 words a day. But that women that say that the words is not a word. It has to be, what do you think of this? Sorry, I set myself up on a coughing fit. Oh my gosh. Number 47. And I was, because he said women say. And I guess that's the nature of women since 2,000 years ago, since millennia ago. Number 47. To watch the courses of the stars as if you revolved with them. To keep constantly in mind how the elements alter into one another. Thoughts like this wash off the mud of life below. Number 49. Look at the past. Empire succeeding empire, and from that, extrapolate the future the same thing. No escape from the rhythm of events. Which is why observing life for 40 years is as good as 1,000. Would you really see anything new? I have a joke to tell you. There was a little boy on the Oprah show. There was a set of septuplets on the Oprah show. It was a white family. I'll say that because there's a reason to say it. Um, Later on, there was a black family with septuplets as well. And the white family had received a lot of sponsorships and free diapers and free milk and lifetime this and lifetime that. The black family had gotten zero media attention. So the black family spoke up, and I heard about it. Well, I didn't get to do something about it because that's just not my want that was not my want at the time. But the little boy had now 7 sisters and brothers, and he was about 2 years old. And his mother said to count them, so he counted them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then when he finished, 6, 7. Are there any more? Yeah, it was pretty funny, I thought. So would we see anything new? Number 50. Earth's offspring, back to earth, but all that's born of heaven, to heaven returns again. Either that or the cluster of atoms pulls apart, and one way or another the insensible elements disperse. That's the way we are. I am really, really torn about whether I'm supposed to get myself buried or cremated. Can't remember what I was supposed to do. Number 52. A better wrestler, but not a better citizen, a better person, a better resource in tight places, a better forgiver of faults. Number 53. Wherever something can be done as the logos shared by gods and men dictates, logos means universe, by gods, logos means reason and universe. Okay, so wherever something can be done as the logos shared by gods and men dictates, then all is in order. Where there is profit because our effort is productive, because it advances in step with our nature, there we have nothing to fear. So that means if you're making money, man, you're doing the right thing. That's what he's trying to say, I think. Number 54. Everywhere at each moment, you have the option to accept this event with humility, to treat this person as he should be treated, to approach this thought with care so that nothing irrational creeps in. Ooh, yeah. I've had some very irrational men in my life. Not men per se, but certain people that I dated. And then I would find out that they had one major irrational point. That would be a time when in my mind, I'd say, okay, time to break up with this one. I've had that happen twice. And I've had a lot of boyfriends, but I've had that happen twice. Number 55. Don't pay attention to other people's minds. Look straight ahead, where nature is leading you, nature in general, through the things that happen to you, and your own nature, through your own actions. Everything has to do with what it is made for, was made for, and other things were made for those with logos. In this respect, as in others, lower things exist for the sake of higher ones, and higher things for one another. Now, the main thing we were made for is to work with others. Secondly, to resist our body's urges, because things driven by logos, by thought, have the capacity for detachment, to resist impulses and sensations, both of which are merely corporeal. Thought seeks to be their master, not their subject. And so it should. They were created for its use. And the third thing is to avoid rashness and credulity. The mind that grasps this and steers straight ahead should be able to hold its own. Number 58. In all that happens, keep before your eyes those who experienced it before you and felt shock and outrage and resentment at it. And now where are they? Nowhere. Is that what you want to be like? Instead of avoiding all these distracting assaults, leaving the alarms and flight to others, and concentrating on what you can do with it all? Because you can use it, treat it as raw material. Just pay attention and resolve to live up to your own expectations in everything. And when faced with a choice, remember our business is with things that really matter. And take a look over here. I can't tell. I can't read it. Okay. Number 59. Dig deep. The water, goodness, is down there. And as long as you keep digging, it will keep bubbling up. Number 60. What the body needs is stability, to be impervious to jolts in all it is and does. The cohesiveness and beauty that intelligence lends to the face. That's what the body needs. But it should come without effort. Number 61. Not a dancer, but a wrestler, waiting, poised and dug in for sudden assaults. There was a man that told another man, and this man told me that he was a Tai Chi master, but I don't think it was really Tai Chi. I think he was a Kung Fu master. He said, come up to me any time from behind and try to push me, and you'll find that I can stand still and not be pushed over. That is a person with a lot of energy. and the energy is in the martial arts. He has this kung fu, the ability to stand still when somebody comes and tries to shove him from behind and he's standing still. I've also heard of the ROK, the Republic of Korea. They have an army where the training is that a commander at the end of a certain session, a commander will come up to each of the soldiers who are standing at attention and punch him really hard in the stomach. And if he's standing still standing, then he passes. But if he falls over or staggers in any way or a bit, it's different. So, you know, that's interesting. Number 66. How do we know that Teleologus wasn't a better man than Socrates? It's not enough to ask whether Socrates' death was nobler because he debated with the sophists more adeptly, whether he showed greater endurance by spending the night out in the cold, and when he was ordered to arrest the man from Salamis, decided it was preferable to refuse and swaggered about the streets, which one could reasonably doubt. What matters is what kind of soul he had, whether he was satisfied to treat men with justice and the gods with reverence, and didn't lose his temper unpredictably at evil done by others, didn't make himself the slave of other people's ignorance, didn't treat anything that nature did as abnormal, or put up with it as an unbearable imposition, didn't put his mind in his body's keeping. Number 67. Nature did not blend things so inextricably that you can't draw your own boundaries, place your own well being in your own hands. It's quite possible to be a good man without anyone realizing it. Remember that. And this too, you don't need much to live happily. And just because you've abandoned your hopes of becoming a great thinker or scientist, don't give up on attaining freedom, achieving humility, serving others, obeying God. To live, love, to live life in peace. This is number 68. Immune to all compulsion. Let them scream whatever they want. Let animals dismember this soft flesh that covers you. How would any of that stop you from keeping your mind calm, reliably sizing up what's around you, and ready to make good use of whatever happens, so that judgment with a J, capital J, can look the event in the eye and say, this is what you really are, regardless of what you may look like. While adaptability, with a capital A, adds, you're just what I was looking for. Because to me, the present is a chance for the exercise of rational virtue, civic virtue, in short, the art that men share with gods. Both treat whatever happens as wholly natural, not novel or hard to deal with, but familiar and easily handled. Number 72. Whatever the force that makes us rational and social encounters something that is neither, then it can reasonably regard it as inferior. Number 74. No one objects to what is useful to him. To be of use to others is natural. Then don't object to what is useful to you, being of use. Number 75. Nature wills the creation of the world. Either all that exists follows logically, or even those things to which the world's intelligence most directs its will are completely random. A source of serenity in more situations than one. In other words, what you would say is, gee, does this make sense? If this doesn't make sense, then nothing makes sense. That's what he's saying here. Okay, so, and then book 8. We'll continue a little. Number 1. Book 8. Another encouragement to humility. You can't claim to have lived your life as a philosopher, not even your whole adulthood. You can see for yourself how far you are from philosophy, and so can many others. You're tainted. It's not so easy now to have a reputation as a philosopher, and your position is an obstacle as well. So, you know how things stand. Now, forget what they think of you. Be satisfied if you can live the rest of your life, however short, as your nature demands. Focus on that and don't let anything distract you. You've wandered all over and finally realized that you never found what you were after: how to live. Not in not in syllogisms, not in money or fame or self-indulgence, nowhere. Then where is it to be found? In doing what human nature requires. How? Through first principles, which should govern your intentions and your actions. What principles? Those to do those to do good and evil, that nothing is good except what leads to fairness and self-control and courage and free will, and nothing bad except what does the opposite. In other words, what's constructive is good. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. I haven't been awake for an hour even. Water, water. Mizune. Straight. Aqua. No. Hydropower. Oh, goodness gracious. Wow. Water. 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 Okay, I guess we'll stop here. I have been reading from book 7, from number 34 on, to all the parts that I had not read before. There were parts that I had read before. This was many months ago, and I circled every single one that I had read before, so I skipped all those today. And that's why it doesn't sound as long as it should, probably, to those of you who are familiar with book 7. And as I said, needed water. And in the end, I always say water first. So I hope I've inspired you to have a good day. Go out there and do something good. Dust. Oh. And then I will see you tomorrow. Okay. Old Kinderhook.